A word can change a life. The young Thomas Merton was somewhat perplexed. He felt that he was being called, but wanted a word. And he decided to open the sacred scriptures. He writes in his autobiography, "Whatever it is, this is it." And he was going to take the first verse that appeared as the word. I looked, and the answer practically floored me. The words were Ecce eris tacens. Behold, thou shalt be silent. Sometime later, he was asking for the help of his dear Thérèse of Lisieux, and he made a prayer for guidance through her intercession. And he records that this happened. Suddenly, as soon as I had made that prayer, I became aware of the wood, the trees, the dark hills, the wet night wind, and then, clearer than any of these obvious realities in my imagination, I started to hear the great bell of Gethsemane ringing in the night. He goes on to indicate that it wasn't just his imagination, and the moment corresponded exactly to when it would be ringing at the Solemn Salve, closing the day. The rest is history. It occurred to me years ago in Rome, when writing a lot of sonnets quietly, how actually the word frozen on the page could perhaps warm a soul somewhere later on. For we pass, but communicate on the page with souls yet to pass this way again. And we can help each other on the journey. Indeed, a word can orientate sometimes. The Lord can use anything to get through if we are open. Remember, in student days, we went in the first year as a Catholic society to call the island for a retreat, and I was deeply moved when I heard in the heart of the night the big Abbey church bell going at the beginning of vigils, and I thought, what a beautiful life that would be. Praise while the world sleeps on. Thomas Merton, in his book, does indicate that when looking at the different possibilities, there was a huge advantage in the Trappist life. There was no recreation, and therefore God alone knew the secret of the soul. And he quotes the psalm, all the beauty of the king's daughter is within. And I wrote this to anyone who perhaps would pick up a word once penned in the quiet life in Rome, with the books, more books, and yet more books. Take not too much, my friend, of this delight, that will to souring turn. Take but a sip, a little, in the dying of the light that was thy roused day. For on the lip a word caressed is blessed more sweetly when 'tis heard alone and left alone to stand. And where the words of many hurried men cry oft, there is no softness in our land. My friend, hear well, and this the bell that comes again, again, to call a hermit home, will travel to thee. And what becomes tomorrow, here, today, will onward roam, there where thou art, within, deep, deep within. If thou wilt halt a sound and enter in.